third Sunday after the great feast of resurrection. These Sundays we were listening to different narratives of the appearance of the risen of Lord to his disciples. And today we listen to a part of the gospel narrative we were following from last Sunday, where we saw Jesus appearing to the disciples who were going back to their old profession of fishing. And now we just heard a morning after breakfast conversation Jesus had with Simon Peter. After the breakfast, Jesus asked Simon, "Do you love me more than these?" Sometimes you are wondering, since Jesus knew Simon's heart, he is the one who knows everything that goes around or goes on in the whole creation, the one who caused the creation. Why should he ask Peter, does Peter love Jesus more than these? Because he knows it. So we have to understand this is not an information seeking question. It is not a question Jesus is asking to know what Peter thinks. But we have to think in terms of, this is a question asking Peter to assert and discern for himself. So today Jesus is asking this question to ourselves. So each and every one of us, do you love me more than this? It is not merely do you love me, it is do you love me more than these? And remember, this is a question asked just after Peter had led his fellow disciples to their own profession. So this was asked in a context. Peter decided after the post-crucifixion confusion to go back to his old ways of life. And Jesus is asking him, because within Peter we always see this fickleness. On the one side he might reject Jesus, on the other side he will love Jesus. And even in the previous portion we listened last week, we say, as soon as he realized it was Jesus, he was eager to go back to Jesus. He jumped into the sea and swam. He couldn't wait to get back to Jesus for the boat to come to the shore. So this was a typical attitude of his. So now Jesus is asking him to assert himself and discern for himself. Do you love me? Not a mere love in the midst of several other loves. Specifically he is raising the question, do you love me more than these? More than the world possessions. More than the world itself. And we also see that after this discernment by Peter, in response to the question of Jesus, he never looked back. He went all the way to martyrdom. We don't see the old Peter again, who is always wavering in between Jesus and other things. But this is a question of discernment Jesus is asking us today. Do we love him more than other things? And also this is a question about ourselves. I know most of us will be able to look at others and people sitting around us and say, he or she doesn't love Jesus more than this. Because we are always worried about whether the other person loves Jesus. ask Simon the question, Simon, does John love me more than this? Or Thomas love me more than this? The question is to us as individuals. It is not about whether the other people love Jesus or not, or whether the other people are spiritual enough or not. The question is directly at our hearts. And then we also see this again. First response from Peter was, yes, I do. I love you. And then Jesus commands him to tend the lamb. And then, for the second time, Peter's response changes a bit. He says that, you know that. It is not merely about, I love you, but then he responds that, you know that. Then the third time, Peter is being hurt. He doesn't say that I love you, but he is saying, you know that I love you. So, there is a process of discerning within Peter, it is visible for us. We rarely, when we read or listen to the gospel narratives, we rarely connect it to our own life. We rarely want to see what it means to us. Many times for us it's a holy entertainment. Okay, we read it as if we have finished doing one good deed of the day, hoping that God will be merciful to me just because I read the gospel for a few minutes a day. But we don't want to take it to our hearts. We don't want to ask this question. Many of these questions Jesus is asking to those around him, or his statements are to us today. So he is asking each one of us, what is your love priority? What do you love the most? It may be easy for us to have a long list of what we love. Most probably we will start with the possessions, the car or the electronic digital toys or the house or your spouse. And at the end, we might add, and also Jesus. When the challenge comes, when you have to choose between your love, which one will you start throwing off? When you are faced with death, what will you throw off first? If you have to choose one thing among all your love and say, okay, you can choose only one thing. If you choose more than one, you will be put to death. What will you choose? Even today in the world, there are situations people are being persecuted for their faith, where people are asked to choose what is your love, or asked to choose between their love of Jesus and their life itself. And also we see people choosing their faith in Jesus rather than their life, because once you have found your life in Jesus, it cannot be destroyed. So today, this question is to you, each one of you. It is not about your neighbor. It is not about the one sitting next to you. It is not about, the question to you is not about whether the remaining loves Jesus, but it is each one of us. I should ask myself, do I love Jesus? Not merely do I love him more than everything else? Let us hope and pray that God will help to discern for ourselves, and hopefully we will be able to say, yes, Lord, we love you more than all these.